Suicide is the second leading cause of death among young people, according to the CDC. And statistics show that LGBTQ youth are 4 times more likely to seriously consider, make a plan for, and to attempt suicide than their peers. Thanks for joining us for this week's Health News You Can Use. I'm Lindsay Stish. September is Suicide Prevention Month, and we're talking about how the LGBTQ youth are at risk for suicide, signs to look for, and how to help prevent a loved one from attempting suicide. With me today is Sarah Middleton, a licensed professional counselor and intensive in-home therapist at St. Luke's Crittenton Children's Center. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, Sarah, we started off the segment with a staggering statistic that LGBTQ youth are 4 times more likely to attempt suicide than their peers. What's important to understand about this statistic?
Yeah, so those are the actual attempts. When we look at how many of this population are seriously considering in the last year, we see about half of the LGBTQ youth population. We also see that youth of color and transgender youth are overrepresented in these numbers. So, for example, transgender Black kids and Indigenous bisexual kids are going to be much more represented in these statistics than maybe white gay kids are. So the kids who are experiencing compounding discrimination really are leading to even higher levels of distress.
So what factors can impact our LGBTQ youth's mental health to get to this point?
Yeah, so a common misconception is that these are youth who might already be depressed and are then identifying as LGBTQ. But research suggests that the mental health symptoms are coming after the social discrimination or the internalized queerphobia happens. Other factors that contribute to this that are kind of specific to this population might be choosing when to come out, choosing who to come out to, real or perceived rejection, trauma, minority stress issues, as well as violence and bullying, either at school or in the community. About a third of this population reports bullying at school. And the CDC reports that about 10% have been physically threatened with a weapon while at school. And so school's tough for a lot of kids. But when we have these kids who have a tough life at home, maybe, and then they're going to school, also not being supportive there, they might not have anyone that's really connecting with them.
So it's important to have someone who's outwardly supportive. How can just one person impact and help change the trajectory of their life?
Yeah, so kids who have one supportive person, either a parent, coach, teacher, older sibling, are 40% less likely to attempt suicide than other youth.
Wow, just that one person?
Just one.
So what are things that people can do to support the LGBTQ youth?
Showing allyship is so important. According to self-report data, 16% of Generation Z identifies as LGBTQ, which surprises a lot of people because they say, I don't know that many gay kids. But the truth is that they might not be telling you. And it's not that they don't trust you, but it is that they're not going to risk rejection if they don't need to. So you could be an ally and fully supportive, but unless the kids in your life really know that, it's not going to be useful to them. So showing allyship could look like asking someone's pronouns before just assuming them, or saying, are you dating anyone, instead of, do you have a boyfriend or girlfriend yet? These kind of subtle changes in language can show kids that you are open to other possibilities for their future.
So what are some signs that someone might be contemplating suicide?
So I will say the best way to know is to simply ask the kid. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be putting ideas in their head. So the best way is just to ask and remain calm when you get the answer. Other signs might be changes in sleep, eating, loss of interest in other activities or friends, increased risk-taking behavior. So ultimately, just knowing what your kids enjoy, who they're hanging out with, what they're doing is the best way to notice those differences.
So what can loved ones do if they're concerned about the well-being of a child in their life?
They can always call Crittenton Children's Center intake specialist. We can link you with our resources or community resources if the child does not meet criteria for admission at that time. There's also a national hotline that recently changed. It is now 988, and you can call or text if you need support or are concerned about a loved one. They make it very easy now.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
To learn more about St. Luke's Crittenton Children's Center, visit stlukeskc.org/Crittenton. You can also stay up to date with all the latest health news from St. Luke's at stlukeskc.org/news. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time on Health News You Can Use.